completely different tonight. As if we don't have enough stresses from live radio by itself, we're doing live radio and live video broadcast. In 5 seconds, we're going live.
3, 2, 1.
I hate this frickin' song.
It's going to hypnotize me.
Blog Talk Radio.
It always does.
I love it.
I hate this song.
From the land of Pleasant. When I first heard your voice on this,
From somewhere in the marshy glades of the Chesapeake Bay, in the land of the desert hills,
I did, and
this is the
It's Stu Kerr.
I don't see you
That's
on
Captain
there.
Kangaroo.
You're not on there. You're in
Okay,
here.
I'll wait, but okay, just wait. I'll wait. Stop it.
Stop! Red light.
Okay.
here for the next hour. We'll talk about mainly independent music, with any time that has spare game. Live call-ins are encouraged.
You hid your social
Call in.
security number right.
What?
You hid your social security number right because he's
Oh, sorry.
I'm your host, Lee Townsend. Welcome.
Ah, yes, indeed. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show, Real-Time Music Network Blog Talk live call-in radio show. And today we are more live than live. Folks, we have the entire Seinfeld family in here with us tonight. I'll be Jerry. Our lovely producer Bev is in from the Himalayas, fresh in from the Himalayas, and is in person because we have a special event tonight. Joining us is our guest our guest artist, not Kramer, no, George Costanza, no, Russ Steele, right, I'll get to that. Russ Steele is our special guest this evening. We're going to be listening to his music and talking about his very illustrious career in music, and we also have Ray Ray, who is recording all of this for posterity. In addition to that, folks, we are doing, as if we don't ask for enough punishment from trying to do just live radio.
You could ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Yeah, we do feel kind of lucky tonight. We're lucky enough to be able to also bring a live video stream via the Google Plus Hangouts. They have a little broadcast feature that you can do, and we are trying that out. So we are doing live video and live audio, or rather live video and live audio in that order. Tune in on Google Plus Hangouts. You can search Real-Time Music Network and you'll be able to tune in. We may not sync up time-wise because we're still kicking the rust off of that idea, but it's an experiment in the envelopment of the future technology. The call-in number this evening is 347-308-8792, and I would be very remiss if I didn't give a shout-out and a special thanks to our friends at collegeundergroundradio.com who are kind enough to pick up a delayed broadcast of our program. Click on Future Sound Radio Shows, and you'll be able to hear archived episodes. Hoorah. Hoorah, hoorah. I tell you, it's...
I'm going to be pretty busy tonight.
Yep, I'm going to be pretty busy tonight because we have a heck of a show lined up for you. First, we're going to talk about, we're going to bring in to our studios, he's already here for those of you who are watching, but this is how we do it in showbiz land. Russ.
yes, here and present.
I hear you're a veteran musician of some 40 years.
Actually, some 50 years.
Okay, well, but who's counting?
Who's counting?
I'm wondering how we can do that since we're all still 29.
Well, yeah, it's magic, definitely. It's sleight of hand.
It's sleight hand.
Sleight of hand.
Right on.
It's about 50 plus years. I think I started playing in 1963.
Well, and you've played not only around, this show originates out of the Baltimore, Maryland area, and you've been very active in your hometown area, but you've also done a lot of things. You've been around.
I've been around the block a couple times.
This ain't your first rodeo.
This is the first rodeo, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we can we can just jump right in and talk about that. We have some of Russ's music we're going to be playing in a little bit, but let's get a little bit of history first.
Okay. My first band.
What was your first band?
First band was Deluxe Martini. Got a shout out to Carl Filipiak and Timmy Steele for their cooperation and effort in that group.
And that was
cool. That was 1965 probably. 65, 66. And that was probably my first exposure.
So it was you and
Carl Filipiak, Timmy Steele,
the jazz legend,
Carl Filipiak,
right?
Danny Pellegrini,
And Danny Pellegrini,
he's Danny's
Love him.
Danny Pellegrini, loved the guy. He's
Yeah.
a great guy, and one of the better keyboard players around, and still kicking it. So that's cool.
Right on.
And we're all still kicking it in one way or another. And that was a great time. That was probably my first exposure to playing avant-garde. I think we could be categorized as one of the first fusion bands, because that was definitely fusion. We were
with Carl in there. I think.
yeah, it was. And Carl and Timmy, we're fusing it up, and so from there I went to.
Well, wait.
I'm sorry,
let's
go
hang on that for a
Sure,
second.
sure.
Where did you play?
We were
do like teen centers.
We were
and
teen
CYOs,
centers, CYOs.
Yeah.
We played the Mardi Gras one time in the
Paint
on the bar
mustaches
stage.
on and playing the bars, sneaking the bars.
We were sneaking in. Played in Judges on Green Mountain Avenue. We were managed by Mr. Charlie Steinmetz. I don't know if anybody remembers Charlie,
I
but
remember good old
great
Charlie.
guy. And
Yep.
he had us going to Pushnicks in Pennsylvania, and I was the only one that was old enough to drive, so I drove the van truck, and we had a great time. From there, we went to.
Now the band truck, was it older than?
The band truck was a 1957 Chevy panel truck that we cut the panels off on the sides and built our own storage compartment. And my father used to come home from the bars at night and paint it with us psychedelic. It was very. There's some pictures of that floating around. I think Tim has some pictures of that. Really eclectic vehicle.
We've got to see that sometime.
Had a starter on the floor that you actually.
Oh, I remember
pedal
that.
pedal starter.
I was just wondering if the band was older than the band members.
The band was older than the band members. Yeah, the band was. That thing was. No, I don't know. I think that was the early '50s, and we were all born in 1950 and '51. So we go back a good ways.
So you transitioned from that.
Transitioned from that to a short stint with my friend Bobby J. Davis, who introduced me to the block, playing at the Hitching Post, and I was 17, I think, maybe 16, and late 1966, and from there.
That's when burlesque was still
that was
thriving.
when burlesque,
in
and
Baltimore.
play started, down at the 2 o'clock club, and we were playing at the Hitching Post, which was on the outskirts of the block in those days, and it was an experience, that's for sure. I came of age down there, and from there. I actually went to a band called Sawbuck in 1968. I was 18. I hooked up with some good friend Mark Tiernan, God rest his soul, and he showed me some more of the ropes, and we did the Latin casinos, and we did the Hollywood Parks, and we did the Hollywood Palace, and the Mardi Gras, and all and the Club Venus, and all that Greek bar circuit, which was pretty educational. I played 4 or 5 nights a week, 50 weeks a year, and for little or no money. But it was I cut my chops on that.
But you were able to work, though.
I was able to work.
Yeah.
We played at the Rhapsody many times. We were probably a house band there, along with my other band that I moved to from there, which was Coyote, and I actually played at the Rhapsody in 2 bands in the same night. I played with Sawbuck. We would play 3 sets each.
Which was unheard of in those days.
In those days, it was unheard of. You had 2 bands playing 3 sets each on the same stage.
Yep.
And I played with Sawbuck for 3 sets, and I played with Coyote for 3
So
sets.
you double dipped on the night.
I
then.
double dipped.
All right.
And that was in education. I was inspired. I was a bass player during those days, the first part of my career.
Not in Coyote, though.
No, not in Coyote.
Yeah.
I got in Coyote as an organ player. I played. I had a B3, and I was playing B3, and they got me for my voice actually, because in those days I could actually sing like Rod Stewart, and then I hooked up with Jimmy Kessel and Chuck Beatty, who inspired me to be a guitar player.
Yeah. Well, I remember, and I was telling you before the show, I remember my best friend through junior high and high school, Doug Robinson, we played music together for years in Climb a Donkey. We would sit up in his bedroom and listen to his stereo and listen to the Coyote record all over again. We were all over that record.
I just happen to have that here, so anybody want to take a picture of it, we'll take a picture of it
Well,
here.
if you're, this is a piece of Baltimore vintage vinyl right here.
That's it.
The Coyote record. I still can't figure out how the hand works on that, and I think Russ tried to explain it to me a little while ago. It wasn't sinking in.
And the best part of this vinyl, this piece of Baltimore history, is the producer and engineer, who was Mr. George Massenburg, and anybody in the business knows who George Massenburg is. Need I say more?
He is a monster.
Yeah, he was.
He engineered my first session too. The first session, I was fortunate as well.
And I think his claim to fame is actually doing Earth Wind. He had gone to France,
Right.
and met up with Maurice White, and
He did Shining Star.
he did Earth, Wind and Fire. Yes. And,
Yeah.
did a hell of a job on that.
I'd say.
I'll have you know.
Oh, wait a minute, my mom's calling.
Oh no, it
Hang
has
on.
for me. I'm not here. Okay.
Excuse me. Just talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Hello. Hon, I really can't talk right now. I'm doing a live radio show. Okay. Any night except for between 8 and 9. Thanks. Okay.
Have
It
a
wasn't my
live,
mom. I thought it was my mom. She usually calls when we go on the air. Oh well.
Moms do that.
live
trying to sell
recording
me
of a
subscription.
live recording.
Boy's Life. or
Reader's
something.
Digest.
Yeah.
Catholic Review.
Sorry about that. See, we don't stand on formalities here, folks. We get a phone call, we take a phone call. Don't mean to be rude or anything. So
Yes.
carry on.
Yeah, so from there, we were playing 5 and 6 nights a week, trying to make a living. And at the time, writing. Still, I began my writing thing in Coyote. It was my first. I had one of my first songs on the Coyote album, which I was privileged to do. And you have to go back to the beginning. And people say, people ask me, who were your influences? And they said, well, it had to be the Beatles. Well, yeah, it was, but I was doing it before that. When I was doing, I was listening to Roy Orbison and the Everly Brothers and stuff like that, and I had a little wooden guitar, and I'd walk around the basement and profile in the mirror and see if I couldn't get my hair to do that, when I had a lot of hair.
And then you were writing.
And then I was writing. I started writing then, and in the early, in Deluxe Martini we were all writing, but it was very, very avant-garde, eclectic songs, and we wrote about Spam too. So from there it was working, writing, and moving on. I moved into a band called City Star with my brother.
Good evening, Real Time Music.
And we did, we wrote, Timmy and I wrote together.
Mike is muted.
And,
Sorry.
that's all right, that's quite all right, It's live, it's live radio.
It's live radio.
It's live radio, just like being on Johnny Carson.
I really am listening. What'd you say?
I was napping.
Wait till you see the live recording of the recorded live.
No, I think we missed a call. Caller, if you missed this, go
My
ahead and
bad,
call
my
back.
bad.
Or it may have been just the wrong number or something. I don't know.
Somebody selling us some.
Somebody sent us some more
Yeah.
subscription.
Yeah.
All right, I got your other number. All right.
So I'd string of bands throughout. From Sawbuck to City Star, which had my brother Tim in it playing
Yeah.
drums. I've always gravitated to him behind me playing drums because he's such a monster player and such a great guy all
Yeah, he is.
around. And from there to Mixed Nuts, which Timmy was a part of for a while, and Timmy Camp, and Buzzy London was in that band for a while, and did a stint with them. And from them, I moved on to my biggest career move, which was the Dion years.
The Dion years.
The Dion years.
Yeah, I tell you what, we're going to get to that. I do have, you've been kind enough to bring us some tracks and some
Yeah,
music
yeah.
to play. Or if we spin a
Yes,
tune.
please do.
All right. You want this is going to be a song called She Said.
It's from my second CD.
From your
Walk on
second
Water.
Okay.
Yes, featuring Tim and I.
What's the song about? That's what she said.
That's what that's what she said. And it's if you listen to the lyric, it's a story of me and she.
And me and she.
He and she, and
For-
that's what
okay.
she said.
For thee and she.
Yeah, so
Right.
hope you enjoy it.
Russ Steele, she said.